So, I wind up meeting Scotty, and we had a love for cars, and things just kind of worked from there, and we became friends, and I picked him up from the airport. And one day I was on the way taking him back to the airport, and he heard me. Some song came on. I don't know if it was the Delphonics or the or Smokey, and I started singing. And he was like, and not try to impress him. I just used to sing in my car all the time, and I literally forgot he was there and just started singing. And he was like, "Man, I didn't know you had a falsetto like that." And I said, "Oh yeah, man. I've tried to sing with other groups." So he, unbeknownst to me, he went back to the guys and told them, "I got the guy. I got the guy," because Gordy had gotten hurt in a car accident. He was no longer there. Right. So he said, "I got this guy. He's got beautiful falsetto. I think he's the one." And if it wouldn't be for him pressing for me and talking to all the other guys and pushing Nicholas, because Nicholas was the biggest obstacle that I had to hurdle that I had to get over, then I probably wouldn't be a Whisper today. And so I actually owe Scotty really a lot for me even having an entertainer career, because without him, none of this probably would have come through.
Yeah, you talked about wanting to fly VIPs, and you became VIP, right? Y'all.
Yeah. So I fly myself now.
Right? Yeah. So 55 years plus in the business, and it's really hard to remain relevant in a business like this. Let's talk about how you guys kept your relevancy. If I'm looking from the outside in, I see what you do and I understand why you're relevant, but there's things that you went through, that you go through. What does it take to be relevant in this business for so long?
Well, we talk to young people, and this is the first thing that we tell them is that never give up on your dream. Young people have dreams, and so did we. And it was tough, no question about it. We got discouraged, and in 1978, we put out a record called what was the name of the record? I don't even know it. I know our parents bought it. That's the only thing I can say.
Whisper in your ear.
Yeah, Whisper in Your Ear. Right. And my mom came to us and she said, "You know what? I think you guys need to get some jobs with some benefits because this ain't working." But we went in the studio in 1979 and recorded this song called "The Beat Goes On." We knew right after we finished it that we had a hit.
Yes.
And our lives literally changed from that point, from 1980 up until now, And I mean, it was we know disappointments along the way, but "And the Beat Goes On," we eventually met Babyface in LA and had Rocksteady. And so we tell kids, hey, if you believe in yourself, if you're serious now, when you're a kid, right, you might have a dream, but you don't really want to stick to it.
That's right.
But if you're serious and stick to your dream, we're perfect examples that it will happen. And it did happen for us. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I hear you mention one of your songs, my father, I just remember him. And I remember he would like the song so much, he would write the words and play it back and write the words. He got that song. So yeah, you guys, 33 top 10, 20 multi-gold and platinum awards, and been on Soul Train about 27 times, right?
Right.
Incredible. Can you believe it?
Yeah, more than anybody.
We're so proud of that.
Yeah, such a blessing. Let's talk about Soul Train. You guys, a lot of people don't know that it really originated out of Chicago, I believe. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, as a matter of fact, Don Cornelius was a policeman, believe it or not. He was a police officer, and he did the news at the radio station in Chicago. And so he started his dance show, kind of like Dick Clark.
Right.
And, and this is so incredible because all the acts that you see now and the ones that are maybe a little bit older, even before you were born, they all owe their credit to Don Cornelius because he brought every R&B act that you can name, to be truthful with you, to that show while it was in Chicago and after it went out to LA. Yeah. I mean, the Jacksons, you name every group that you can think of that became somebody. Mm-hmm. Don Cornelius had a big hand with the Soul Train. If you remember, no, you might not even be born. To be honest with you,
maybe not at that time.
I forgot.
I'm born at 70, so I'm not so young, but
yeah. Well, then you remember people waking up Saturday morning looking at Soul Train.
I remember us waking up on Saturday morning, me and my siblings sitting in front of the TV watching Soul Train.
No question.
And I think we need to mention too, that was when Don left Chicago and came to Los Angeles. That's when the show really went national.
Yes.
From that point on, every major act that there was in the business, he brought. And like Walt said, we can't really say it enough. I think the Black entertainment community owe everything to Don Cornelius, because at that time, if it wasn't for him, you'd have never been seen on television. I mean, that's why it was such a big show. We were not accustomed to seeing people that look like us on television. So Saturday morning was like a celebration all over America with Black families. We owe all that to Don Cornelius.
Yes.
Yeah, because to be honest with you, a lot of people don't know that if you were on American Bandstand, you either had a #1 hit or close to it. That's if you were a Black actor, because you're not going to get on American Bandstand with having the top 20 or top 10 records. So that's where Don Cornelius came in, and he's like, you don't have to have a #1 hit. I need to let people know that you're out there, because people, Black people gravitate to the music. They don't have to be a #1 hit for them. It could be a top 8 or top 10 or top 20. If they like it, they like it. But they couldn't put a face on it. And Don Cornelius was the person that made the artists today, Black artists today, like Scotty said, man, they should praise Don Cornelius, because they probably would have never been seen on TV in any capacity if it wouldn't have been for Don Cornelius. So we've been on the show, like you said, about 27, 28 times. And, and it's because of the love that he had for the Whispers that we're on that much. And so we never take that for granted. That was just a blessing to be there.
Yeah, I remember it so vivid. So vivid.
Yeah. The other thing about Soul Train is that if you watch Soul Train today, you get to see artists when they were in their infancy, before they had the hits, and then you get to see them after they had their hits. Right today, that is so fascinating to me, because we saw these artists that white people have never heard of. Right. But white people, 10 years later, that same act was on Soul. Now they're big, and white people know them. So that's how effective Soul Train is.
I want to talk about you guys' connections. Let me back up, because I want to talk about humility and then talent. And there's so many talents that are not really humbled, but you guys have seemed to be humbled and keep that about yourselves. Let's talk about humility and humble in this business, because it's very hard business to be in. Let's talk about that.
Well, that theme kind of runs through us today, because we meet with a lot of young people. And I hate to say this, but it's just true. This generation compared to when we came up, they're totally different. The word humility, when we came up, that's what it was about. We were so eager to dress up and put on our uniform and do our routines. And we were so grateful that the audience came to hear us. And we told them that. Today's generation will tell you that you should be glad that I'm here, and I might not even finish the show. I mean, I don't know if this young man explained to me, he said, let me tell you, man, he called me Mr. Scott. He said, we got a phrase, it's called being hard, and we gotta appear to be hard. So if we come with too much humility, it takes away from the hardness. I said, young man, let me tell you something. Think about what you just said. That's the most stupid thing that I have ever heard of in my life. Humility and thankfulness will get you everything that you ever wanted.
Let me add to that too. There's another word that you can add to the hard that young people should take to heart, I think, and that's short. Because when you're hard, you won't be here long. Yeah. There's only one reason why we're here 55 years. It wasn't being hard. That's right. But and we say you call it humility, and we're honored that you do, but because of our parents is who I really give the credit to. Right. My mother and all of our mothers always told us, be what you are, not what you ain't. Mm. That simple. And we carried that theme throughout our whole career. So for some reason, and I will admit, I didn't think it would be this long, and I'm glad that it was. Yeah. But I think the hardness that they think that
is
works for
them,
it ain't about that. It ain't about that.
No.
Oh, we lost Leaveil.
Did we lose Leaveil?
Yep.
He'll be back.
He'll come back in. Yeah.
That's very, very important.
But it is, and I think that's where they mess up, is that they try to be somebody or something that they're not. And if we just stay genuine and true to ourselves, and we talked about that. I talked about that with my sister earlier. Just be who you are. you know,
Right.
and that's humility. I am who I am. I can't be nothing else, and I don't want to be nothing else. So
Right.
I get that.
But you know what, Marvin? I don't want to take away from the young talent today. It's incredible.
Oh,
That's not to say, I mean, they are, I mean, what they have at their disposal with the technology alone. I mean, today you can take a guy that can't sing and sing him through an instrument that can sound like he can sing. So it's been incredible, you know, forward as to what they can do.
yeah.
But man, never forget to, I mean, don't ever forget to be humble, man. The music will carry you wherever you want to go. Just be humble.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that. I want to talk about the music from back then to the music now. I want to know what you guys feel about the music. Now they can't, you know, they can get creative with something that makes their voice something different. But you guys didn't have that. You guys were just, it was just pure singing, right? And if you can sing, you can sing. If you can't, you can't. Right. So let's talk about the difference and how you guys feel about the difference in then and now.
Yeah, but you know, my thing is, look, there are some good singers out there, and by all means, I mean, when we look at the younger acts out there, when you look at the Bruno Mars people, you know, the Ushers, those kind of people, the Beyoncés, I mean, they all can sing, but there's those others that, you know, rely upon technology too much to a point where you're like, okay, when you go see the show. And I heard it's so funny because I was just looking at a guy on TV and I can't tell you who he was. You know, somebody said, yeah, he's real popular. That's how, you know, how much I know about these younger kids. They tend to camouflage their lack of talent because he was lip singing his whole show he came out and before you know it, he was, you know, half naked from the chest up, you know. I mean, first thing he did was to distract you from the actual talent portion of it. He was actually half naked, you know, showing a six pack and stuff. You know, to me, that's not what I'm not going to pay $150 a ticket to go see somebody. If I was going to go do that, I can go around the corner to a stripper club and see that kind of stuff. I won't want to see a guy half naked, or go to the beach and I can see it for free. And so they've, you know, the younger acts have lost the sight of the fact that we relished in rehearsing and putting together a show because we wanted to entertain people. They don't relish in that at all, not unless you get to the point where you're a Beyonce or you're an Usher or you're a Bruno Mars and they have the financial words to do it. But the younger acts don't do that kind of thing. Like Walter said, they're almost happy that, you know, that you should be happy that they're there. But by no means do we look at all acts, you know, the younger acts. We would love Bruno Mars. You know, we think he's
yes, I love him too.
Hell of a talent.
He can bring it. No
yes,
question.
he can bring it.
He can bring it. So there are good to bad. You know, we always felt like our lyrical message that we had should be something that you should be responsible for. Our lyric content in our records has always talked about making love to a woman, to honor that woman.
Yeah.
You know, the lyric contents today, man, you know, I wouldn't want my granddaughter or, you know, actually my daughter at the time listening to half of the stuff because it's not, it's all about shock value. You know, I looked at the musical awards and it was either, to me, a porn show more than a talent show.
Yeah.
You know, and so a lot of things have changed, you know, and they're getting away with murder because we couldn't at the time. So we had to come from a different direction. So,
you know, even Bobby Brown talked about how he performed in a state where he went to jail for doing that, you know, taking
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, he went to jail. So
but
that's what makes them the money and people like it. So
that's why, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So let's talk about your writing. Does everybody play a part in writing your songs? Your songs are so mellow and they're right. They talk about loving and respecting women. And my mom and my dad would always talk about that's real music. You know, my music, my era, that's real music, right? Who wrote you guys? Do you share that or how does that work?
Well, we had one writer in the group and his name is Nicholas Caldwell. We lost him in 2016, but He wrote some of the biggest ballads, Say Yes, Lady, Are You Going My Way? But we were blessed to be around producers when they were coming up in their prime, you know. And The Beat Goes On was written and produced by Leon Silvers. And I mean, that's the bona fide double platinum record that we had. Most people think Rocksteady was platinum plus, but And The Beat Goes On was the biggest record that we ever had, written and produced by Leon. And then, of course, we had the good fortune to run into LA Babyface. What's the Babyface? Yeah, LA Reid. And what's Babyface's real
Kenny Edmonds. Yeah.
Kenny Edmonds. I just was in his presence.
Yeah, we met them in Atlanta, and I mean, when they came with tunes like "In the Mood," you know, I mean, you can't mess with that. No. That's the good part about the younger generation. They've been blessed with the technology to do things that we just. And The Beat Goes On was did with a drum machine by a guy getting on a drum on his hands and knees and creating the beat that you hear today, because there was no drum machine then. Wow. So what I admire about the young people is that they have at their disposal, when we talk about creating a groove, they can create a groove today because they have the technology to do it. We had to start from scratch with the snare, the tom-tom, and everything.
Right.
So yeah, as Leaveil said, it's some of it is bad, but a lot of it is good. I wish that back in the day we had what they had today.
What they had today.
Yeah, because it's incredible.
Let me add this. This is the perfect opportunity to. Let me say before I say what I'm getting ready to say. Let me thank you for giving us this platform to say what I'm about to say. And that is that we are in the process of redoing our catalog. What that means is we've had to go back and re-record songs, big songs that we've had throughout our career because, for a better lack of word, you know, because we weren't treated fairly with some of these record companies.
Right.
And they're the ones, so now we want to reap the benefits like them. And the only way we can do that is we have to go in, redo our catalog, which we have just finished the first two biggest songs we've had, which is And The Beat Goes On and Rocksteady. So if there's any corporations, particularly Black corporations, but we don't really care about the color, corporations, period, that are interested in doing business with the Whispers, we want you to know that you can go through B&A Entertainment. B&A Entertainment. The lady that you would speak to, her name is Willette Ballard. Her number is area code 702-366-6234. And you would do the Whispers a great favor by contacting us as opposed
to a record company. You can do business with us
directly.
Yeah.
As opposed to the record company who stole what you hear. And you know what I'm saying?
So we're going to push that number. We're going to push it on our social media sites. We're going to put it on our website. We're going to do what we can to get you guys connected.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
I'm just humbled by you guys saying that. You almost made me cry for saying thank you to me. I'm thanking y'all.
No. Thank you.
Those platforms is vitally important.
Absolutely. We don't take it for granted, Bob.
Well, I'm going to make sure I do my part in helping you guys as much as I can and passing it along. I want to talk about producers. You work with a lot of producers, and I just want to ask you this question. Have you ever worked with Fred Hammonds?
Yes, we have.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We had the pleasure of going to Dallas where he lives. And he was a guy that he did about 4 songs on our gospel album. Now, we had been singing for years, and we wanted to do, our parents, my mother in particular, said, well, why don't you guys ever do a gospel album? And of course, record companies, when And The Beat Goes On and Rocksteady was doing well, you go to a record company and say, we want to do a gospel album. They said, and not right now. We never got to do a gospel album until toward the end. A small company in Chicago gave us the opportunity to do a gospel album. The gospel album is called Heaven, but they went to Fred Hammond and a few people that we work with as producers. And we're so proud of this gospel. It's called Thankful. And there's some great songs on there done whisper style that are gospel. So glad you mentioned that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Magic
Yeah.
Mendez.
Oh man, but
Yeah.
and there were so many. I love Fred Hammond too, and there were
Oh,
so
is
many,
he something else? Oh my God.
there
Yeah.
was, yes, he is, and I got to see him live too. So, but there were so many other producers. What producer in particular? Let's just go back in the day or present that you worked with that you just like that was the producer, or there's several on your list. Like
Several.
who was you
Well, to
just
me-
so ecstatic about?
Well, to me, that's a real easy one. The one who gave us our biggest record that we've ever had was Leon Silvers, the oldest brother of the Silvers. The truth of the matter is, I never forget it, from 1980 to 87, thank God, everything we had was either platinum or gold. And it all started, our lives completely changed when Mr. Leon Silvers came in with And the Beat Goes On, like Walt said. We'll never forget it. The night that we finished it in the studio, we all knew, and I say this all the time because it's just the truth, that from that day on, I could finally get my clothes out the cleaners.
He changed our lives.
It would never change. From that point on, it was great.
Oh
He
my
was-
God.
He was the biggest, without a doubt.
That's a feel good. Yeah, that's a feel good song. It'll make you get on the floor and dance. I don't even dance, but if that song come on, I'll try to do it because that's a good song, and I can see it being platinum. You know, it was good.
Tremendous staying power. Yeah, right today it still got it.
But we
Yeah.
also,
Still today.
when you talk about Magic Mendez,
Yeah, there's a young guy in our band who plays bass for us. He wrote several songs on the gospel album, and his name is Magic Mendez. He's one of our favorite producers, and of course we got to mention his face in LA
Yeah.
because going in the studio with them was incredible. You know,
Right.
doing Rocksteady and In the Mood, and
Yeah.
these young guys were coming into their own. It was just great. It was a great collaboration. We'll never forget it.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know, there's an interesting story that I'd love to tell you about that was really, really fantastic. You know, we worked with Babyface, which was another entity that we were just so proud to work with. And we knew that when we first got with them, you know, we used to, it was funny, we used to go visit him in his apartment, and he had a little 4-track thing. And we knew then that this guy was going to be an incredible talent. But what really made his talent shine is we were in the studio and we did the song called In the Mood with him. And while we were recording that song, when we got ready to leave that night, him and L.A. Reid was there, and we said, "Man, we need an up tempo." He said, "Okay." He says, "All right."
We said we need another And the Beat Goes On.
Yeah, we need another And the Beat Goes On. He says, "Okay, cool." You know, he said, "Well, I have one for you tomorrow." I'm like, "What do you mean I have one for us tomorrow? What are you talking about?" You know, I'm like, "This young cat is really arrogant," you know. So in 24 hours later, he came back with Rocksteady, and we were blown away.
Goes to show you about that arrogance that we're talking about by young people. Sometimes it pays off.
It pays off. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was another, like you said, those were the two, Rocksteady and Then the Beat Goes On was two of our biggest hits. And so, you know, when you look at people like that, and then from that point on, we knew. I mean, he had, you know, he started producing stuff on a lot of the artists under the Soul Train banner. And he just, everything he did was just turn into gold and platinum.
I don't know if this has happened. That's amazing. You guys are just amazing. But I don't know if this has happened yet, but you guys deserve a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. When are we going to see that?
You know, we got people working on that. In fact, when we did the Black Music Honors, the producer of that show, he told us, he said, "Guys, I'm working. You're going to get your name on the Walk of Fame. Don't worry about it." We told him, "Hey, just make sure you do it before we leave here."
Yes, so you can see it. Yes, give them flowers while they're here, y'all. Give them
Exactly.
We talk about collaboration, and for me, I always say there's room enough for all of us. We can all win if we stick together. When we come together, we can rise to the top together and be a force to reckon with. Do you guys ever see yourself collaborating with some of the newer artists, you know, of today? Is there a chance of that? I know that you guys have done a birthday party or two for Snoop, but anything else that you guys are willing to do or wanting to do or going to do?
Oh no,
we all
we'll
have worked there.
yeah, and we do have something, we can't say it now because it's in the works, but yeah, we definitely want to work with the young people. And you know,
Right.
Snoop in particular is a big Whisper fan, and we'd love to do something. You know, he recorded Olivia on his own. You know?
Right.
Did he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, no
And
question
you know,
about it.
and for me, I tell them all the time, and I said every time we do an interview, Bruno Mars would be somebody that we would love
no
to work
question.
Oh
with.
my God.
Love to
He's so
collaborate.
fire.
It would be
Yeah.
it would be a match made in heaven. I think that we could wind up doing something from old school, new school, kind of, because he's old school.
I was going to say, because
young
you
cat.
notice he does
Yeah.
old school and he brings it back.
He brings
Yeah,
it back.
you're absolutely
That would
right.
be
Yeah.
amazing. That would be
Yeah.
amazing. So you guys, we're getting close to y'all having to go, and it's still not through all of my questions.
Oh,
here.
we got to do this again. That's
We're gonna have to have a part 2, right?
There
Right.
you go.
But I wanted to ask you guys, you know, we talked about putting that little twang or that little tweak on people's voices, and y'all don't do that. So I was wondering, can I get a little sentence, one little line from you guys?
Young people always like for you to do that.
You know?
You want us to say a little bit? This is what I do to get you in the mood. I love you with all my heart. I want to get you in the mood. That's about it.
Machine to do it.
Yeah, we need a machine. No, mic.
No, y'all don't need a machine ever. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for being here. I do have a lot of other questions, but I know I gotta share y'all tonight.
We'll do it again.
We'll come back, but I wanted to also make sure that we connect again so that we can get you guys on the cover of Black Link magazine and then get that information. Yes,
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, and I'm so excited about doing that. And so we'll be in touch with you in order to get that done. But we'll share the phone number. If you can share that phone number one more time for the people to get a hold of you. So if somebody
Okay, it's called B&A Entertainment. The woman that runs the company, her name is Willette Ballard. The number is area code 702-366-6234.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for giving us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, y'all, and we appreciate you.
You're very welcome. I appreciate y'all. And before we go out of here, I want to know, what do you guys want your legacy? You guys have done it all, and you continue to produce and bring us the fire. You guys just had a new single that was put out, I guess an album maybe, that we didn't talk about.
Yeah, new single, you're right. Yeah, single. Yeah, yeah.
What do you guys want? We have a few minutes for each of you to just tell me, what do you want your legacy to be when you're no longer here? And we know you'll be here for years to come, but what do you want your legacy to be?
Well, you're probably gonna get, you're right, 3 different renditions. For me, Marva, I just want people to know that we're genuine. You know, we're not false. We've always tried to be what we are. When we first started, it was called The Whispers. And along the way, people would come and say, why don't you guys call it Walton Scotty or the Twins feature? We didn't believe in any of that. We always believed that we were only as strong as our weakest link. And that's what I think I want our audience to know about us. We stick together as one. Very important.
Love it.
I think probably for me would be that I want people to realize that the Whispers have always been humble, been approachable, and that the music that they did, that they've done over the years, that the music has actually changed something in their life. You know, we get a lot of people that come up and say, you know, that this record here, you know, I was in Vietnam, and this record here, you know, let me know that I was going to be all right, or, you know, our gospel album has affected a person in a way that, you know, they were having an operation and they heard a song of ours. We just want to know that our music, at the end of our days and not being here, that it had a positive effect on everybody that came in contact with the Whispers, and that we tried to do when we were doing our shows or presenting our act to them, that they could say, these guys really brought it, and they put a lot of energy and a lot of pride into their presentation.
We're saying that now. Okay, your turn.
I'm going to close it out by saying, you know, a lot of people come up to me on the streets and different shows that we do. They say, man, how come you guys haven't received this award or that award, lifetime achievement, which is true. We haven't. You know, the one thing we have achieved, though, is that we have the loyalist fans that in the world. But if there, I just want to put this out, if there are any of you people out there who have forgotten about us with that lifetime achievement award, like Leaveil said earlier, if you're going to give it to us now. We're not really that interested about when we can't see it, you know, whatever you want to call it, lifetime achievement, time of life, but no matter what it's called, whatever it is, give it to us now and we appreciate it.
Well, let me say this, we were nominated for a Grammy. I don't want to put the Grammys down. Every award that we've gotten, we appreciate it. And like Scotty said, if there are more coming, bring them on.
Bring it on. Well, I pray for that. I pray for that for you guys because you are genuine and you deserve it. But before you guys go, there was 5 of y'all before, 7, 5? How many?
5 of us, yeah.
So my question is, or my audience, a person in the audience wants to know, are you guys, would you ever bring somebody else on, or is it just you 3 and that's it? That's all?
That's it. But let me name the other 2.
Yes.
The other 2 was Nicholas Caldwell. We lost him in 2016. The other gentleman's name is Marcus Hudson, and we lost him in 2000. And as far as we're concerned, the 3 you see here, that's all it's going to ever be. That's it.
I love it. Again, you guys, I thank you so much for your time. I wish you nothing but more success. We just keep going and going, right? We just keep going.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I can't wait to get you guys on the cover. I will give you guys a Black Link magazine award, something right now.
Absolutely. No, we love you.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys, again, I appreciate everyone that has come out to listen to this interview. We're going to post it on YouTube at the Black Link Experience. You guys help us push that number so they can reach the Whispers and they can do their thing and get what they deserve. You guys, we're going to go for now, but remember, respect yourself, respect each other. God bless.
Thank you so much. Thank you, my dear. Thank you so much. Bye.